Hi Oddings, it's your Ate Sapphire. Today's story is about an insatiable beast who steals livestock and people at night. If you have an appetite for these types of tales, then you'll love the latest Loot Fright, featuring loot from The Twilight Zone, The Fly, and other delicious franchises. Loot Fright is a monthly crate featuring exclusive horror apparel and collectibles like this shirt, and these tasty items from the Season's Grievings crate over the holidays. So head on over to lootcrate.com/somethingscary and use the code somethingscary for 15% off your crate.
Hey, I'm Sapphire.
Want to hear something scary?
Rawhead and bloody bones.
The following is based on a true story from Little Mama 85, whose great-grandfather encountered an infamous creature in the Southwest. My great-grandfather lived until his 93rd year and was sharp even near the end. He lived with me, my parents, and my siblings in the same house that he grew up in. Once the sun was about to set, my parents brought in some of our animals and boarded the windows and doors. They did this every night, ever since I could remember. I decided to ask my great-grandfather about this, and he proceeded to tell me the following story. In the 1930s, my great-grandfather had just been released from prison for making moonshine, and he needed a job to support his family. Luckily, a mining company had recently moved to town and was looking for employees. The new company was a little controversial. Some people didn't think the mountain should be disturbed, but others believed that finding coal was necessary and profitable. The mining company was looking for young men for the blasting crew. The job was incredibly dangerous. The crew would drop black powder or dynamite into the seams of the mountain to create a hole. They would then investigate the holes to look for seams of coal so that the company would know where to open the mines. The risk was high, but so was the pay, so my great-grandfather happily accepted his job offer. On his first day, my great-grandfather followed the crew as they blasted a hole in the mountain. It created a small opening, so Jim, the smallest of the crew, was tasked with going inside. They tied the rope to his waist, and he slowly and carefully crawled into the hole. My great-grandfather was holding and feeding him the rope at the other end. Jim descended further and further into the mountain, far enough that they could no longer see his light from the surface. Then the rope stopped. Hey, I think I just heard something growl. That's not possible, right? That's just the mountain settling. You're fine, said Bert, one of the older members of the crew. Keep going. The rope began to move again, much slower this time. Oh my God, hold me up. It's gonna get me. Oh my God. You're fine, Jimmy. Wait, I think he's really in trouble, my great-grandfather said, and he began to pull the rope, but it was too heavy. Like something was pulling from the other end. Jim's screams continued to echo from inside the mountain. The other crew members grabbed onto the rope and began pulling until they were launched backwards onto the ground. The rope was no longer heavy. They quickly reeled the rope in. There was nothing on the other end, just fresh blood. Bert stuck his head into the hole. Oh God, smells like rotting meat. He called out below. Jim? Jim, are you okay? Answer us! A deep, bellowing growl responded. Then the sound of digging, growing louder and louder. Oh my God. Run! The crew began to run to the hill and make their way down to where they had parked their truck. Everyone except my great-grandfather. He just had to know what Bert saw. Just one look, one quick look. My great-grandfather said this was one of the biggest regrets in life. He saw something he could never unsee. Something that scared him so badly that he wet himself. Crawling out of this hole was something in the shape of a man, like a man that had been skinned and drenched in blood. It had massive horns on its head. He couldn't make anything out about its face except the slits for eyes and razor-sharp teeth where its mouth was supposed to be. it let out a hellish scream, and my great-grandfather booked it back to the truck just as the men were pulling away. He barely made it. They got back to the mining office, screaming incoherent things at their boss. Okay, everyone calm down. Now tell me what happened. Where's Jim? In the mountain. Something took him. It looked like the devil himself. Their boss stared at them, thinking carefully about what to do next. Okay, let's go. Take me there. The rest of the crew protested and cried. We'll go back under one condition, my great-grandfather said. We have a group of at least 10 armed men with us. 2 hours later, my great-grandfather, his boss, and the armed men were making their way back up that mountain trail. After an hour or so, they came to the spot where the crew had parked their truck the first time. They got out and climbed the small hill. At the top, my great-grandfather stopped and pointed to the hole. But now, there was a blood trail leading out of it. All of the men followed the trail into the nearby trees. The trail turned into a set of footprints, huge prints that were a cross between a bear's and an eagle's. And the prints were headed down the mountain towards the town. The men ran back to their truck and rushed back to their homes to warn their families of the beast on the loose. Families were instructed to board their windows and bring their livestock indoors. After that day, no one stayed outside at night. It became part of the routine. Bring as many animals as you can inside, board your windows and doors, and pray the beast doesn't get you. So, it's still out there? I asked. My great-grandfather nodded.
We should have left that mountain alone. We unleashed something terrible into the world that day. I don't think I'll ever forgive myself.
Don't forget to visit lootcrate.com/somethingscary and use the code somethingscary for 15% off your order. Want more Something Scary? You can hear more stories over on the Something Scary podcast, available for free on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your favorite shows. The links are in the description below. If you'd like to submit a story, send me an email at somethingscary@snarled.com. Like and share this video if it gave you the chills. And don't forget to subscribe to Snarled and turn on that bell for notifications. And if you dare, follow me on social media. Until next time, sweet dreams.